Today we're going to do a video on balancing equations. This is the first in a series. I'm going to start with a simple equation and work our way up to more difficult. And at some point you will not need to use this process. You'll be able to look at it and just simply balance it in your head. But to start with, if you're having difficulty following or coming up with the coefficients, I will give you a process. Today we're looking at this equation right here. And over on this side, we have two different reactants that chemically combine to form two different products. Balancing equations is simply a way of following the law of conservation of mass. What we start with, we must end up with. So whatever elements we start with, those are the elements that are going to be present on the product side, and we have to count atoms and make sure that no atoms are gained or lost. So when I do this, I am going to draw a line separating products from reactants. And I'm also going to remind myself, I'm going to draw lines in front of each element or compound. I do this because to remind myself that the only thing I can change are those coefficients. I cannot change the subscripts that follow an element, nor can I add additional subscripts in. All right? And then I will go and write down all the different elements that I see on the product on the reactant side. So I see sodium, I see bromine, and I see fluorine. And I will write them in the same order on the product side. Sodium, bromine, and fluorine. That way it's easy to go back and forth and check your work. On this side, I've got one atom of sodium, I've got one atom of bromine, and because the subscript is here, I have two atoms of fluorine. On this side, I have one atom of sodium, I have two atoms of bromine, and one atom of fluorine. So we have some differences on either side of the equation. I need to add another atom of bromine over here, and the only way I can do it is to change the coefficient in front of this compound. So I put a 2 in front of that, and when I do that, I am going to change not only bromine, but sodium. Okay? Now I have two atoms of all the elements on the left-hand side, but I only have one of sodium and fluorine on this side. So I'm going to add a 2 here, and that will change the number of atoms of sodium to 2, and it'll change the number of atoms from fluorine to 2. Now I double check my work. 2 atoms, 2 atoms, 2 atoms, 2 atoms, 2 atoms, 2 atoms. At this point, we are balanced and we can stop.